Hi, this is Mark Slade with yet another analysis of the Maplewood year-to-date statistics for real estate in 2012. And this one's more pointed for the entirety of the market, for looking at both buyers and sellers, and both being able to easily see how the market works. So there are three measures on this graph. The left-hand border from bottom 0 to 300 are the number of units that are either active on the market, have sold on a week-to-week basis. That's the blue line. The red line is the cumulative sales. The green line is the active on the market. And cumulative sales would be, basically what that means, that we add the previous weeks to the current weeks, and we see how the net effect is for the year. And we're at 284 homes sold so far, which is 5% ahead of last year. But what you can see is that from the beginning of January to basically April, there was a fairly steady line of build, and that when you see the couple of dips that are there, those are because we have had some peaks in terms of sales. So we've had a flurry of activity in mid-January, end of January, once again in March, and that ends up giving us a little accentuation of the actives. And then when you look at the market from basically April 20th down to the end of August, you see a fairly steady decline from almost 150 units down to about 120. And then you see the fall market, so there are two markets for housing, and we see that as a quick ascension back up to about a 140 level. And then it has dropped back down to 113 units as of the last middle, of November. So when you look at the activity, we're having a minimum of at least usually 2 sales per week. We've had weeks with 10 sales per week, and we had a couple of weeks where we even exceeded that at 12 and 13. But it basically shows you that there's a fairly steady growth of cumulative sales as a pattern, and that at this point in time, the totality of the cumulative sales is more than twice the average inventory that we've held in the marketplace. And those are all very good signs, but if you're thinking of listing your house, it does confirm that getting on, in February to at least be part of the escalation. I look at the market starting about February 1. That's what I advise my clients, to get a jump on the competition. By April, there's so much more on the market that it can be a little bit harder for buyers to make decisions. And then you see there's usually a drop-off in listings, so there's not as much new activity. Those buyers that are out there start to get a little bit bored, as it turns out. And then there's the fall market, which is basically, like I said, starts September 1 or after Labor Day, depending on where that falls. And that gives us our second little burst of business for the year. So if you have any questions further, you'd like to list your home, you'd like to buy a home, I am both ABR, which is accredited buyer representative, and I'm also SFR in case unfortunately you're in a situation where you need to sell your home and you owe more to the banks than where we believe the current market value will yield for the sale of your home. I'd be more than happy to talk with you and try to help you out. Mark Slade, Keller Williams, 917-797-5059. Thank you very much.